Thank you, thank you. My name is Kyaw Zaw, the spokesperson for the Office of the President, National Unity Government of Myanmar. Wow, what a performances. And congratulations to all the winners. Yeah, I just want to, first of all, I would like to relay the warmest greetings from the President, Acting President of the National Unity Government, NUG, and also my personal warmest greeting to you all on this auspicious special day for the Chin community, especially in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. As mentioned, that I represent the National Unity Government President's Office of the President. I would like to thank all your support for the Spring Revolution, and especially I'm very glad to see all the youth in this hall, that the Spring Revolution is led by the youth in Myanmar or Burma, and also in Chin State. The Chin State is the first in the whole country to start the resistance against the military regime, and who brutally killed the peaceful demonstrator against the coup. Just want to mention that the coup led by the Min Aung Hlaing happened on 1st of February 2021. As the day that supposed to be newly elected parliamentarian supposed to convene the parliament on the first day of the February 2021. Just a few hours before Parliament convened, the military arbitrarily detained the country democratically elected leaders, and then also detained all the parliamentarians in their guest houses and hotels in the Naypyidaw. But the elected parliamentarians were able to convene the parliament on I believe on February 3rd, using the technology Zoom. And they were over 80% of elected MPs attended the Zoom parliamentarian sessions, and then they elected the committee for representing the Kyaw Zaw, that's being committee representing the parliament. So that the parliament authorized that committee, the legislative authorities, to represent parliament until full parliament could be convened. That was happened in February, but as you know, the whole country, the people came out to the streets, and also including Chin State, and peacefully demonstrated, but military killed mostly to the youth, because this is the youth-led revolution. First of all, they aimed at the youth leader and the crowd and on the head, and then they kill, they shoot on the head. So anyway, during that time, CRPH convened the National Unity Consultative Council that include all the civil society, over 130 civil society. That's not only that including the CRPH, elected MPs, political parties, ethnic organization, CSO, women organization, youth organizations. And NUCC drafted the Federal Democracy Charter, called FDC, in late March 2021 and approved the Federal Democracy Charter that supposed to aim to establish the Federal Democratic Union that guarantees equality, self-determination, justice, and human rights. And the NUG, National Unity Government, is established on April 16 of 2021 by the NUCC. NUG government is the most inclusive government in Burmese history, Myanmar history. As you know, we have more than 100 ethnic nationalities. We have very diverse communities. And this is the very most inclusive government in our country history. Acting president is Kachin, Christian, and Union Prime Minister is Karen, Christian. In this government, our government has two Chin ministers, Dr. Sasa, who is the Minister for International Cooperation, Dr. Lian, who is the Minister for Federal Affairs, and then even in Myanmar history, the first Rohingya ethnic minority in our government. So our government the main goal is to bring down the military dictatorship, remove military dictatorship from the Myanmar soil forever, and establish genuine federal democratic country which guarantee the equality, self-determination, justice, and human rights as we all ask for. Since the military regime put brutal attacks on the peaceful demonstrators and also attack on the civilians, and our government, National Unity Government, declared that defensive war against the military junta on May 7. Even before then, the civilians, they just formed their own defense forces in their communities and then put up the resistance to the brutal military. And it started on the Chin state and the Sagaing region, and then started with, to me, the handmade weapons, the hunting rifles, and then sometimes even the knives from the kitchen. As I mentioned, the Chins are the first in the country to formally participate in this defensive war against the military junta. Since then, we've been having the significant successes because of the people participations. This is the people-led revolution, not NUG, not the National Unity Government. It's the people-led, especially youth-led. Youth are the ones leading this revolution. Because of the youth, there's an innovative way, and we cannot match the financial resources against military junta. We cannot match the weapon against military junta. But the youth has a power of vision, innovative. So that's how just over 2 years time, and then everybody thought that the people defensive resistance war will be put down by the powerful Burmese military. Is one of the, I think, second largest military in Southeast Asia after Indonesia and Vietnam. And then the advanced weapons, they own it. They thought that a lot of observers thought that the people resistance will be defeated in a couple of months. But now it's over 2.5 years. Not only defeated by the military, now we are winning against the military, we are gaining territories, and across the countries. As you know, in Chin state, because of the bravery of the Chin people and sacrifices, I believe about over 75% of Chin land are controlled by the resistance forces. And whole country, NUG, PDFs, and resistant ethnic armed organizations controls over 60% of the territories. Now we even threaten the capital Naypyidaw, and then our PDF forces attack at the Naypyidaw areas, and then they even has to use the air power to defend their camps near Naypyidaw, I think about 20 miles away. Not only that, we have internationally, because of you and everybody support internationally, we have successes. And our ambassador, Kyaw Zaw, still retain the seats to represent Myanmar people in the United Nations. And the United Nations still recognize our ambassador as a representative of Myanmar. In ASEAN, Min Aung Hlaing is barred from ASEAN since April 2021. He and his foreign minister are barred from ASEAN meetings. They've been marginalized or isolated. Even China didn't invite Min Aung Hlaing to China. Min Aung Hlaing wants to go to China. And recently, as Thailand, they suspended the invitation to Min Aung Hlaing to BIMSTEC. That's a Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. That's a member India, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Thailand, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar. Now they suspended the invitation to Min Aung Hlaing. So Min Aung Hlaing is not only isolated by the democratic countries, but also in the region. Those are the ones because of that people resistance war is gaining inside Myanmar. They're able to, their courageous fighters, able to fight and win the war in our land, not because of all the people supported domestically and internationally like you. But unfortunately, the brutal military attack on the civilian increased. The ruthless attack on the civilian increased. For example, airstrikes compared to 2021 and 2022 alone, double the airstrike against the civilians. In 2023, even half year alone is double more than 2021. So that shows that they cannot win the war on the ground. They have to use the airstrikes and a heavy long-range artillery from the distance. And in Chin State, even Chin resistance forces are even able to shut down and shot at attack helicopter. They have to rely only on the resupply the food and ration from the air. And they've been isolated in their camps. But the humanitarian casualties, we are paying the humanitarian casualties. And then in Myanmar, there's an IDP, internally displaced persons, almost 2 million, unfortunately. But for the coup, the whole Burma, we have about 300,000 IDPs. Now 2 million IDPs within just over 2 years. And in Chin State, they've been, as you know, that hundreds of thousands of people displaced. About over 50,000 people has to be refugees in near our neighbors, India, but they've been having a lot of difficulty, especially in Manipur state. They need our support. People inside Myanmar and refugees in neighboring country need our support. Recently, a few months ago, as the super cyclone Smoker hit Burma, the most affected areas are Rakhine State, Arakan State, and Chin State. I'm the ethnic Arakan. I'm the ethnic Rakhine. But military junta didn't give any, not only didn't provide any support, but even prevented whoever supporting those Cyclone Mocha victims. But our government, NUG, were able to provide the support in cooperation with the people on the organization on the ground in Chin State with the resistance forces, in Rakhine State also with the resistance forces and the local NGOs. But because of the military intentionally mismanaged the economy of the country, our country economy is the lowest point. So much poverty, over 1/3 of our whole country population rely on the humanitarian assistance. That means almost 20 million people need the daily help and support. On top of 2 million people internally displaced, there is no room, no home to live, and no shelter. And that's why we are asking the international community to provide the support, direct support to the people, most vulnerable people in need. At the same time, our government, with the limited financial resources, that's also supported by the people. But also that we were able to raise so far about $150 million over 2 years. Seems to be a lot, but it's not a lot to provide the support for the over 50 million people. But those generous donations that came from the people like you, and also the innovative financing, like using the fintech, like people like you, and also the technology, and then so this way that we have the like innovative financing way, like the spring lottery, right? Recently that we introduced Spring Development Bank. This is a legal bank that based on the digital currency. We already launched a pilot project which is very successful. We about to launch that on the Spring Development Bank in full swing. So this way that people can save money in digital currency and then directly earn the interest that by this at the same time also they can transfer the money within the international system. So that's how our government is trying to do stuff, and at the same time providing the governance services at local level, like healthcare, education, and then the administration. For example, we have over 5,000 schools run by the NUG Ministry of Education, and then online school over 70, and we provided the school children over 200,000 school children, and then also the university. And then in Chin State, over 10,000 school children that we are providing the education support together with the Chin ethnic organizations. Those are the example of that. But at the same time, we are very encouraged that, and that this federal democratic process came from the bottom up. For example, in Karenni states, the majority of Karenni states or Kyaw states are non-controlled by resistant forces. And in Karenni states, Karenni people established an interim executive council, IEC. That means they are they have the self-determination, they are self-administration, their own state. And that's within the federal democracy charter that I mentioned earlier. And that federal democracy has the independent state, like in Canada. We have the Ontario province. Ontario province is provincial government providing the healthcare, education on their own, while federal government is providing defense and foreign policy, and then also the funding to the Ontario government. So similar things that we started bottom-up approach from the Karenni states. Recent month in Chin State, there's a meeting in order to form the Chinland Council. So I believe now it's at the working committee on implementation of the Chinland Council. And then this way where the Chin State and the Chin people were able to manage their own affairs, state affairs. So those are the things that are happening on the ground, but military still control the major cities and the ports and border and the airports. And then they have the still powerful Air Force. And then recently in the Sagaing region, and they used a howitzer artillery attack, that attack from 10 miles away to the school. And school are run at the local village monastery. 22 people hurt, 7 people require the surgery. The most of the injury are children, school children, 7 years old. and the eldest one is 14 years old. The whole country, almost 500 school children were killed over 2 years of time by this fascist military. But we are winning the war. But we need to win the war.